Okay, namaste. Welcome to the sixth session. In the past few sessions, we talked about using the body, the breath, the body sensations, and the mind for meditation. So, in this session, I'm going to cover another important aspect, that which is the intellect, the use of the intellect. In general, we will see that our spiritual practice actually should be able to help us in dealing with our daily life situations, because in our life we are always going to have problems of some sort, whether the problem has to do with our own health, or problem might have to do with the environment, work situation, or people in general. Regardless of what the situation might be in our life, if we are finding that we don't have that inner poise, we are somewhat rigid and not able to adapt to situations and work through that, or if we find ourselves getting disturbed inwardly at least, then there is something wrong with our spiritual practice, or we haven't clearly been able to harness the power of our practice in our daily life. So here is where the importance of intellect comes in, because sometimes we might wonder why consider intellect in meditation, because it seems like thinking and meditation seems to be kind of opposite. Well, that's not kind of true, because if we really understand meditation in its true sense and contemplation in its true sense, then being able to think deeply in a meditative way is actually quite helpful for us. So let me try to today dwell on this aspect of using the intellect. One of the things that um, when we talk about contemplation is there are several kinds of contemplation, right? One kind of contemplation is a very kind of a worldly kind of contemplation. This is where, like, say, a scientist or somebody who needs to think deeply on some subject develops some very deep and profound understanding of some specific subject, whether it is traveling to Mars or another planet, or whether it is being able to find out how to deal with some physical condition, like come up with some medical cure for that. These kind of contemplations are valid, but they are actually based on some subjective of some objective aspects of the world. So we are dealing with something which is we are able to objectify and study deeply. Now, there's another kind of contemplation, which is where more we can say like a philosophical contemplation, which may also be sometimes converted into a religious belief. A philosophical contemplation could be something where we are using the creation. We wonder about creation. We wonder about our own relation, like to that creator or creation. And so we conceive of a creator, and we have certain notions of how creation, creator, and this little me or the self relates to all of that. So that is actually good to have some kind of philosophical view. There's nothing wrong with that. But what we actually, the kind of contemplation we talk about in meditation is a little different. So if you think of this way, that if my view of the world, like the philosophical view of the world, if I'm actually facing outwardly, looking out to that world, what I'm missing here is the subjective reality, which is a kind of an inward view, which is this nature of myself. So this is where contemplation, this is the kind of contemplation that we talk about in meditation. In meditation, the kind of contemplation, it actually helps us to support not just the uh, not just a kind of a belief system we may have, but also to look at our own experience. So we start with something which is in our experience, and we try to look at it in a much more deeper way. Now, the advantage of having done the meditation and calming the body, calming the senses and the mind, is that it helps us to do this deep reflective kind of thinking on our own subjective self rather than the objective world, which all of us are trained to in schools and colleges. We learn how to do that kind of objective study. But to be able to do this kind of a subjective uh, study of ourselves, that takes a altogether different kind of skills. And in general, when we do this kind of contemplation, it actually helps us to use the other aspects of our own self. Like, if somebody is more devotionally tuned, or if somebody is more energetically tuned, they may be naturally able to harness those kind of skills using certain spiritual practices and worship and other things. But the fact is that all of us are endowed with this, not just the body and the senses, but also the mind and the intellect. So, regardless of what our personal inclination might be, we have to be able to work on all aspects. And so, having to work on this intellectual aspect in discovering, in understanding our own subjective reality is actually what contemplation stands for. So, in general, contemplation is helps us to bridge this gap between just having a certain kind of a view or certain intellectual understanding, but that understanding does not filter into our daily life. It doesn't. We're not able to apply it until we are able to contemplate on those truths and make those truths our own. So, in that sense, there's nothing wrong with subscribing to some philosophical system, just as how, as being a monk or sannyasi, like I mostly subscribe to certain Vedic and yogic approaches. But at the same time, what I find important is that that kind of understanding, unless it becomes my own, it sinks into my own experience and realization, I will not be able to live up to that. And so that is why I found that contemplation is helpful. Now we'll talk a little briefly about the kind of contemplations, and then I will create. We will do a little exercise today, a guided practice of contemplation. So there are a couple of ways how we go about approaching this contemplation. The first approach is actually to start off right away with some philosophical beliefs you have, and you can actually kind of think about it. This is where, like, a lot of studies that, such as the Vedantic studies, the Buddhist studies, they are all constantly arguing and debating because they are intellectually trying to understand and intellectually try to defeat each other. Now, another kind of deep contemplation is like the one that Buddha and Ramana Maharshi and other people did. They actually, like, for example, Ramana Maharshi went direct to that contemplation, and he recommended to just stay with that one question of who am I, just to ask that. And that is like going to the heart of the subjective reality, trying to understand the subjective reality. For most of us, we need to take a little bit step by step approach, because although may believe, or we may have a certain intuitive feel that what Ramana Maharshi or Buddha or Ramakrishna Paramahamsa or Guru Nanak or any of the saints are saying is true, we may not be able to establish that truth and make it our own unless we take it a step by step approach. So, in some contemplative traditions, there is this step by step approaches, and I have been fortunate to learn some of these step by step approaches. And to my best ability, I will try to be imparting that. Although in this video, this is going to be a very short introduction to contemplation only. In the further deeper videos, I will actually give more deeper instructions on that. But just to give us an understanding how we go about contemplating, so we will actually use the same meditative approach, like wherein we first calm the body, or we kind of rest the body, and then we kind of try to relax the senses, because the senses are kind of occupied and directed outwards. And then we actually kind of slowly try to kind of center our mind, because our the mind that here I refer to is that kind of mind which is constantly has a commentary, which is judging, which is analyzing, which is trying to every experience, like it kind of says, I like this, I don't like this is good, this is bad. And so that kind of mind, we try to again calm that mind. And then after that, we are able to come into what is called as this intellectual kind of contemplation, using the intellect in a proper way to contemplate. And so the contemplation in general can be of different kinds. One kind of contemplation can be like, you can actually just contemplate on how the body, mind, thoughts, everything is constantly changing, and that there is no reality to that. But a more direct, personal kind of contemplation is actually to try to understand this ability to know things, to realize that there is a deeper essence of our being, and to slowly try to raise above this seeing of this body, mind, and senses to this awareness of our own being. So this is the exercise that I would like you all to do with me today. So after the initial part of our exercise, of our meditation, I will actually just pose a few questions, and so you can actually take those questions and reflect on them in a way that you are able to focus not just at an intellectual answer of that question. So wait for that answer to come for you from your own understanding. So don't just kind of get into that. This is what I recommend people not to just kind of come up and say, oh yeah, if I say, for example, if I come up with a question, something like, um, what is aware of my own body, for example, if I say, right? Do not immediately use your information that you have gathered from your study of biology, or your study of or what you've heard from a doctor or somebody say that. Try to feel that, try to see and experience what is it that is aware of the body. Like in your own experience, in that moment, you can actually kind of try to see if you can get an insight. And if for some people, some questions may not work. So you have to see which questions work for you. If something works for you, then stay with that and take that deeper. So that is how you can actually make this contemplation work for you. That is why, in that sense, sometimes like just taking a question broadly, such as who am I, may not work for everyone. So you have to take certain steps, and you have to also look at personalizing that. So let us start here. Same thing, like every time we do, just taking a couple of deep breath and exhale quickly to just relax and release the tension from the body. So just quickly take a deep breath in, hold that and charge, tense your whole body and let go and relax quickly. Hold, take a deep breath and hold that tension. Tense your whole body, feel that every part of the body is getting relaxed, and quickly drop it and let go. One more time. Take a deep breath, hold that tension in your body, feel that tension vibrating everywhere, and quickly relax and let go. And now we'll try to do the second part, where we scan the whole body just to relax the senses and release any kind of mental tension related to our body sensations. So we just watch each body sensation And wherever we feel any tension, we just relax, and we try to maintain a sense of acceptance with whatever is the sensation you feel, whether it's tension or whether it's pain or whether it's even a good feeling in your body. So start with the top of your head. You can just scan and release any tension from there. And then from your face, bring your awareness to your face, starting with the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the ears, the cheeks, the jaws, and just feel that relaxation there. Same thing at the back of your head. Become aware of the throat region and relax. The chest region, become aware and relax. The arms, bring your attention there and let go. Same thing with the back of your shoulder blades area, upper back, lower part of the body, the legs, thighs, knees, calf, and feet. One more time, and this time we just watch for any sensations, and we try not to react and accept whatever is the sensations in the body. So same thing, scan your body starting from the top of the head down to the face, and just accept whatever sensations, however it is. Be at peace with that. Your skull area behind your head, ears, neck, front and back, shoulders, front and back, chest, upper back, arms, all the way to the fingers. Feel any sensations in the fingers. Your lower back, stomach, abdomen, lower part of the body. The point where the buttocks touch the seat, become aware of the touch, the sensation. Your thighs, your knees, your calf, and your feet. So just feel whatever sensation and be at peace with that. And now, just for a few seconds, let us bring our awareness to the breathing naturally without forcing anything. Just become aware of the in breath and the out breath naturally. Whether it is a deep breath or a shallow breath, just accept it for whatever it is. And if there's any thoughts come in, allow those thoughts to come in your awareness. Allow the thoughts to be there in your awareness, but bring your focus back to the breath. You acknowledge the thoughts, but you don't flow with the thoughts. You bring your attention back to the breath. Same thing with any sounds you may hear or any smell. Just become aware, acknowledge it, but just gently bring your awareness back to the breath. Just watch the breath. There's nothing to do and nowhere to go. Just be here with your breath right now, right here. Now just become aware, take a deep breath, and relax and let go. And then you can just try to rest here with awareness, kind of opening up to whatever is happening with your body, whatever is happening in your mind, as in the thoughts, whatever is happening in your environment. Just relax with awareness. Be present. And if you want to gently open your eyes, you can do that too, but become aware and rest in awareness. Now you can slowly move into the contemplation phase. And if you like, you can also close your eyes and start with just bringing your awareness to the body and the breathing. Become aware that you are aware of this body. Become aware that you're aware of this breathing. But ask yourself, who is it that is aware? Or what is it that is aware of this body and the breath? Can you see this thing that is aware? Can you feel this thing that is aware? Can you visualize this thing that is aware? How does it look like? How does it feel like? How do you know that you are aware of your body? What is this knowing element that's aware of the body? So, maintaining your awareness, you slowly bring in these questions. Without losing your sense of awareness, you try to see in your own experience, in your own kind of perception, direct perception. Is there a knowing element? Is there an aware element that's aware of the body, the breath? Or maybe you're just aware of this thought that you're thinking right now. How is it that you're aware that you're thinking? Is there a self? Is there a you that is different, somewhere sitting somewhere and watching this? And if there is such a thing, how does it look like? So try to question that there might be something different, some kind of an entity that is different and watching. Try to look if it is true. Or is it that your experience is that there is something deeper, something larger, some kind of a God element that is actually doing this watching? If so, how do you feel that presence? Do you feel that as a form or a formless? How does that look like? Or is this aware entity your own self, your own being, that is aware of not just the body, the mind, the senses, but it's aware of the own mind itself? Do you Can you get in touch with that? Can you perceive that? You can stay with any one question too if you like and take that a little deeper. Gently bring your awareness and attention within your own body. Feel that your own body is here, and slowly bring your attention to the point in the heart region, center of the chest, the heart space. Bring your awareness there, and you can kind of drop all the contemplation and just rest here and see if you feel any presence, any peace. And from that space, you can slowly start opening your eyes, connecting back to the world, but maintaining that inner awareness in that heart space. You can gently start opening your eyes. Look up, look out, but hold on to that inner awareness, the inner peace, or the inner insight from your contemplation. And you can rub your hands if you like. Gently rub your face. So that was a very brief introduction to the contemplation exercises. Of course, in this short video, it is not possible to pack in all the different aspects of contemplation. But we can experiment with each of us can try our own experiment, and of course you can ask for some guidance, but you have to see what you connect to, and you can actually make that also part of your daily life. And as I was mentioning in the beginning, the advantage of how this actually helps us connecting with our daily life is because our attention, in not just in terms of the eyes, but I'm projecting it in terms of the eyes, is generally outside. So when we have actually done contemplation enough, we have slowly turned this inward. And so we get this guidance from our own contemplation, inward contemplation, and that gets projected into our daily life and activities too. So we don't get lost in just the outer realities. We are also connected with some inner realities, which we give, and this is how our value systems comes about through contemplation. And so this can also be in a very devotional way also done. So according to your own inclination, you can do that. So we'll have one more guided instruction session for, especially for the public. After that, we will do only for a smaller group. But one more instruction session tomorrow will be the last one, which we'll give in a general way. But until then, you can try use some of the contemplation for today and tomorrow. In general, we see that faith as such, as in just a blind belief, can falter. It cannot always stay steady. But the wisdom that you gain from insight and contemplation, that's ever stable. That will stay with you in your life. So I hope you can try to use this as much as you can. So thank you. Namaste. And see you tomorrow.